Welcome gamers to another edition of Gamer Zone, where we play games, talk games, and share with you the latest in gaming. With me, Yume Suryani. Role-playing games are defined as a game in which players take on the roles of imaginary characters who engage in adventures, typically in a particular fantasy setting overseen by a referee. However, there has been a subgenre, or rather, its own genre in gaming defined as JRPG, or Japanese role-playing game. It is compartmentalized as a region-based game, developed specifically in Japan for the Japan gaming market. However, due to the growth of the globalization, the game is subbed and ported to English amongst other language for limited release outside of Japan. Today we would like to explore the games of JRPG, but before we move on to that, let's look at our gaming news of the week. After a delay since 2022, Xenoblade has finally given a final release date for its third game, which it will launch on July 29 for Nintendo Switch. A new trailer has been released, which include new gameplay details and the 7 character-at-once battle scenes.
Finding a path that lets us all live. I will make that my mission.
Updated specs from Valve has included Steam Deck to support a total of 3 USB-A 3.1 ports, amongst other features, to include a docking station which is to be sold separately, Ethernet port, internal displays to support DisplayPort 1.4 and HDMI 2.0. That includes our gaming news of the week, so we will move on to our weekly list. Xenoblade Chronicles is a series of action role-playing games developed by Monolith Soft and published by Nintendo. It is part of the Xenometa series created by Tetsuya Takahashi. Xenoblade began with Xenoblade Chronicles, released for the Nintendo Wii in 2010, and it was a critical success and spawned multiple sequels. The gameplay within the series uses real-time action-based battle system, where the player manually moves a character in real time, and party members will auto-attack when enemies enter their attack radius. Manual input attacks called arts may also be performed, but in a limited fashion, and lot more other gameplay features in this game. The game does not share any setting directly, but its universe are linked. 2 massive titans known as Bionis and Mechonis serve as the setting for Xenoblade Chronicles.
Well then, there is much to be done.
By the light of the Monado, I will stop them.
Now here's a little throwback to a time when portable gaming was on the rise back in the 90s. Earthbound, or known in Japan as Mother 2, is a game developed by App Inc. and HAL Laboratory and published by Nintendo for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or also known as the Super NES. The second entry in the Mother series, it was first released in Japan in 1994 and in North America in 1995. As our main protagonist, Ness and his party of 4, Paula, Jeff, and Pooh, the player traveled the world to collect melodies from 8 sanctuaries in order to defeat the universal cosmic destroyer, Gigas. The main theme of Earthbound is the idiosyncratic portrayal of Americana and Western culture. Earthbound subverted popular role-playing games tradition by featuring modern setting while parodying numerous staples of the genre itself. Essentially, Earthbound is a parody of the RPG genre itself, whereas most RPG take itself seriously, but Earthbound takes the goofy route to entertain players. Final Fantasy VII is a 1997 role-playing video game developed by Square for the PlayStation console. It is the 7th main installment in the Final Fantasy series. Published in Japan by Square, it was released in other regions by Sonic Computer Entertainment, and is the first main series with a PAL release. The game's story follows Cloud Strife, a mercenary who joins an eco-terrorist organization to stop a world-controlling mega corporation from using the planet's life essence as an energy source. Events send Cloud and his allies in pursuit of Sephiroth, a former member of the corporation who seeks to destroy the planet. The gameplay of Final Fantasy VII is mostly comparable to earlier Final Fantasy games and JRPG. The game features 3 modes of play: the world map, the field, and the battle screen. And its grander scale, players explore the entire world of Final Fantasy VII on a 3D world map. Final Fantasy VII is actually the game that started it all as the mainstream JRPG in not only North America but across the globe, amongst other game series like the next one in the list. Chrono Trigger is a 1995 role-playing video game developed and published by Square. It was originally released for the Super NES as the first game in the Chrono series. Chrono Trigger's gameplay features a standard role-playing in video game, where the player controls the protagonist and his companions in the game's 2-dimensional world, consisting of various forests, cities, and dungeons. The story of Chrono Trigger takes place in an Earth-like world with eras such as prehistoric age, in which primitive humans and dinosaurs share the Earth, the Middle Ages with knights and monsters and magic, and the post-apocalyptic futures where humans and sentient robots struggle to survive. The protagonist team travel through time to obtain allies and gather equipment and learn information to help them in the quest. And eventually, the team acquires a time machine vehicle known as the Wings of Time, which makes it possible for the team to travel between any time period without having to travel to the end of time. Persona 5 Royal is an RPG game developed by Atlus and is the 6th installment in the Persona series and is the enhanced version of Persona 5. Essentially, the Persona series releases a main game, then a follow-up of an enhanced release of the game, which features new stories and characters as the supplement to the original stories. But with Persona 5 Royal, it adds a new additional storyline after the initial stories is finishes. The game gives the players the role of a male high school student, codenamed Joker. As with previous installments, the game is governed by a day-night cycle and weather systems determine general behavior similar to a social simulation game. The year is punctuated by a scripted and random events as Joker attends school, and he can take a part-time job and pursue leisure activities or create battle items. These activities raise the character's attribute, which grant a passive buff. Alongside the school activities, there are also dungeon crawling gameplay within the metaverse, specifically story-based, and a randomly generated dungeon called Mementos, populated by shadows and physical manifestations of suppressed sites that are modeled after mythological and religious figures. Tales of Arise is an RPG game developed and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment, released in 2021. It is the 17th main entry in the Tales series and the first game in the series to have a worldwide simultaneous release. Developed by a team composed of both series veterans and newcomers, the aim was to revitalize the Tales series, built using the Unreal Engine 4, and upon release received favorable review and won the award for Best RPG at the Game Awards 2021. Like in previous fames, Tales of Arise is an action role-playing game and features a new battle system dubbed the Linear Motion Battle System. The game has a big focus on evading and countering, and unlike previous titles in the series, the game doesn't feature multiplayer, with the development team deciding to focus on various interactions between characters in combat, including the addition of the Boost Strike feature, allowing multiple party members to perform destructive attacks together under the certain conditions. Well, that's it for this week's list. We have a lot more under the JRPG genre, but we have time restriction. And if you decide that there are other games that we should include in this list, do contact us in our social medias. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, gamers, and this week on our recommendation, we want you guys to try Disgaea 6. It's a tactical role-playing developed and published by Nipponichi Software as part of the Disgaea series. It was released in January 2021 for the Japan market and May 2021 in Asia. In total, the game was translated into French, English, traditional Chinese, and Korean. The game involves turn-based combat on grid-based battlefields, as there are a lot of focus placed on effective management on the in-depth systems that surround the combat, and individual characters can reach a high levels. The story of Disgaea 6 follows Zed, a zombie on a quest to defeat the god of destruction, terrorizing the netherworld, a parallel universe inhabited by demons. To know more of the story? Then don't forget to catch this game. Showa American Story is a brand new RPG and an enthusiastic love letter to the 80s pop culture that features a strong taste of B-movies. Follow Choco's journey of truth and revenge across North America as she grows stronger. No release date has been confirmed yet, however, with this teaser out, we are enthusiastically awaiting for the release of this game. And that's it, gamers. That's it for this week's update. Don't forget to tune in to our show again next week. Same time, same place. Only on Gamer Zone. Eat, sleep, game, repeat. See ya!